Alright, what's up guys? It's Tony here. So, I'm scrolling through Reddit right now, and I found the thing called r/entitled parents. So, I found one that said she would rather risk killing her child than be wrong. And I quote, I was sitting around reading stories here, and I realized I had a perfect story. The entitled parent is my mother and her sane need to be right. When I was younger, my father had a massive heart attack. The result being that we had to change the family diet to something more healthy, or heart healthy. Lots of people go to seafood for heart healthy diets because of all the healthy oils and fats. So shellfish and fish were a large part of the household. One night after we had a shrimp pasta, I started getting this weird feeling all over my body. I felt like my whole body was on fire and like my nose was stuffed, so I had to take deep breaths through my mouth. I looked at my arms, and giant red splotches started to appear all over me. At this point, I call my mother over and exclaim that I must be allergic to shrimp. She looks at me and replies, "It doesn't look bad, just go to sleep." The entire night, I tossed and turned, unable to catch my breath or get away from the relentless heat oozing off of my skin. I decided that day I would never have shrimp again. The next couple times my mother made a meal with shrimp, I would politely decline to make food for myself, even though I made my own food from scratch. I was still feeling strange after the meal. It was starting to get to the point I would be gasping for air, barely able to swallow, and wheezing. I assumed that being in the same room when they cooked shrimp might not be enough to make me feel sick. I mentioned this to my mother and got an irritated sigh and eye roll. You are not allergic to shrimp. So the next time dinner with shrimp rolls around, I just don't say anything. The symptoms come on as usual, but I just kept it to myself. Apparently the lack of mentioning how bad I felt was interpreted as me admitting I was fine. My mother walks all proud of herself, and sits down next to me. See, I've been rubbing shrimp on your utensils before you eat for a while, and you're perfectly fine. Needless to say, I eventually went full anaphylaxis, unfortunately, from something other than shrimp while I was student teaching, and had to go see an allergist. After my allergy panel, the doctor declared a very long list of foods, plants, and molts I was allergic to. Guess what was on the deathly allergic list? Shrimp. My mother's reaction when I pointed it out, she shrugged and said, "Oops, that was about a decade ago, and I still can't eat food she has prepared." She just tested me again with onions this time. Just last year, she tells me there are no spices on things, and then remembers when my throat starts closing up and I have to devour Benadryl. The worst part is my father knows and doesn't warn me. So that's my story of my mother preferring being correct over me being alive. I actually have a ton more of these. If anyone finds my random childhood stories interesting, I might post more. Thanks for reading. So that is something that I find really bad, because, alright, so if you're thinking you're allergic to it, then why not just bring up the fact that you're allergic to it? Well, she did, but her mom doesn't, acknowledge it. Come on. Seriously. If she's having all these symptoms, why not acknowledge it? So, basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you guys have any, symptoms of an allergic reaction, basically tell your parents, and if they don't want to acknowledge it, go to the doctor on your own, even if you're not old enough, and say, my mom and dad, my parents aren't acknowledging the fact that I might be allergic to this thing, and I wanted to bring this up. Yes, I know that they can get in trouble for it, but I wanted to bring it up because it's hurting me really badly. So the next thing I said is, entitled mother tries to steal my necklace and assault me. So I was out of the house doing some chores. My mom had left me at the local shopping mall, picking up some groceries, getting some new keys cut, etc. I had just finished shopping and decided that I would go to the food court to get some lunch. I had ordered my food, received it, and went to sit down to eat and listen to my music. I decided to sit in one of the food court corners so I could enjoy my meal quietly. I start eating and put on a song I like. All my chores were done, so I had the rest of the day to myself. Out of the corner of my eye, I see EM and EK walking over to me. She's a 5'7" Karen-looking woman, so I knew I was in for a fun time. I take out my AirPods to be polite and listen to what she was going to say. The conversation went like this. EM, hiya, I couldn't help but notice that Punamu traditional necklace where I'm from you were wearing. Me, I was a little shook because I had it tucked into my shirt and all you could see was the string of it. Oh, thanks. It was a gift from my grandma, and we had it blessed at Treaty Grounds, the place where my country's founding document was signed, and it's quite important to me. EM, aw, that's so sweet. Mind if I have a look at it? She starts reaching towards my shirt to take it off me. Me, sure, I mean, if you want to look at it from EM, just take it off so I can hold it. I want to see what it looks like next to mine. Mine's really expensive, as you can see. She has on a necklace which you can get at the markets for $20, so I knew that what would happen. Me, I'm sorry, but I'd rather keep it on me. It's expensive and it was a gift from my grandmother, so it's quite Oh, come on, you're what, 20? Jewelry isn't for men like you. Boys don't wear it. My son would look great in it, so you should give it to him. I'm 16, but look a lot older than I am because I'm 6'3". EK, Mom, I want the man's necklace now. I want it. He's 7 at most. I tuck it back into my shirt and reply, yeah, I'm sorry, but no, it's a $400 necklace and it's very important to me and my family. My grandma passed away a few weeks after she gave it to me, so it had a lot of emotional value. I knew she was going to go off on me, so I put my earpods back in and went back to my music and food. I changed the song to Bismarck, my Sabaton, so I can't hear much she's saying. I know she's starting to yell at me, so I can start to hear her between my music. It sounded a little like this. Pride of a nation, a beast made of steel. Listen to me, you little shit. I'm an king of the ocean. He was made to rule the ocean across the 7 seas. Give me the fucking necklace now, you thief. Terror of the seas, Bismarck and the Craigs. Just then, this bitch flips the table I was sitting at, send my food and drink flying onto the floor. I'm pissed off at this and stand up staring at the woman down. More of a do you know what you just did look than pissed off look. No, I'm 6'3" and quite a well-built guy. She's a solid 5'7", so I'm looking down on her. All of a sudden, I hear her start to scream, EM, rape, help, he's raping me and my kid. Oh my god, did she just... EM, help security. EK starts to banshee scream, so I cover my ears. Mall security rushes over just as the woman punches me in the stomach, which causes me to fall to the floor. EK sits down in front of me and tries to rip the necklace off my neck. This hurts a lot because it's a rope, not a chain, so I get some rope burns from the kids swinging it about. MS, what happened, ma'am? EM, that man took my son's necklace and tried to sexually assault me. MS, is so confused as he had just started his shift inside, sitting me up and putting me on the chair as he asks me and the woman to come to the security center of the mall. I take off my necklace and put it on the table the woman and I are sat at. She's sitting there with a massive smirk across her face. I'm fuming at this point, and a police officer walks into the room. He's one of the chilled as police officers my city is known for, so I call him CO. CO, afternoon. I'm constable, so. I was called here today because there was a dispute. EM with EK sitting on her lap. Yes, that little shit over there sexually assaulted me and stole my son's necklace. Me, but I... EM, oh shut up, wouldn't you? CO, well, I'm going to go into the back with MS and look at the camera footage real quick. EM's face goes pale when she tried to get up and leave. CO's partner was standing at the door. She tells her to sit down. I grin at the lady. Suddenly my mind clicks. Me, hey, I think I know your boyfriend. He works with my dad at big company. EM, so what? He could probably fire your dad. My grin widens as I take his business card from my wallet. I carry them because It has his work number on it, so I can contact him if I lose my phone. I forget numbers easily. I slide it across the table to the lady, and she turns even paler. My dad is a director at the company and could easily fire her boyfriend. CO2 walks over and asks me what is going on. Me, oh, nothing. I was just giving her my dad's business card in case she wanted to call him. CO2, well, ma'am, I can call him for you if you'd like. Quite quickly, she says, no, thank you. Can I leave, please? CO2 notices she's starting to get jittery and says, we're almost done here, ma'am. If you've done nothing wrong, you have nothing to worry about. CO and MS come out of the office and look at me. CO says to CO2, CO, can you please cuff this woman and get her spouse's number if she has one? CO takes me outside with my necklace in hand, giving it back to me. CO, so we looked over the footage and, well, you can press charges if you want, but I need to do some paperwork with you before we go. He gets my ID and looks back up at me. CO, you don't live at my address, do you? Me, yes I do. CO, oh, you're the kid who was reported missing a few months ago. I'm glad you're safe. That's a story for another time. Me, yeah, I was my parents told me about you, mate. My parents said he was a good guy, so I wrap up the paperwork and see the woman crying, gets placed in the car. Her boyfriend has arrived from his job and runs over to me. BF, hey, name, I'm so very, very sorry for what EM did to you. I just came from work and me, don't worry about it, mate. You've done nothing wrong, so you're in the clear. BF smiles. BF, good on you, mate. If you need anything, you know how to get to me. I head home after this. EM was bailed out, and I decided not to press charges because of how nice BF was to me, and it would ruin his career. Edit 1. This missing persons report. So by popular demand, I've decided that now is a good time to tell the time I was reported missing. Earlier on in the year, I was having a bit of a bad time with my mental health. This is mostly behind me, but I am a lot better. One of my friends I had told a lot about my issues and knew what I could have done if I were alone. I had been invited on a scout camp in the middle of nowhere, where no cell phone reception for 3 days straight. I didn't tell my friend, so she had assumed that I had offed myself or run off somewhere. So naturally, she calls the police and gives them my address. I didn't know this was happening, and the first thing my mom said when she picked me was my name. The police came to our house yesterday. Immediately, I shit myself thinking of all the things that could have been considered illegal. She goes on to say, name of your friend reported you missing because you didn't return any of her messages for a few days. Once I got in cell phone range, I had about 100 messages from various friends and 20 missed calls. A tip my parents learned about the police is if the officer comes to you wearing their hat, it's serious. If they are not wearing it, it's not as serious. Thanks, Sia. I'll keep that in mind. Edit 2. For those saying I should have pressed charges, I'm sorry. I just couldn't bring myself to do that. It would already be on her file as being arrested, so in my opinion, that's enough. So, basically, if you're sitting somewhere having food or whatever, and someone comes up to you and asks you for that, basically you say, sorry, I can't, and then can't give it to you because it has personal value, it has a lot of emotional value, just like as in, like, my friend's ring and all that. I basically, now I never take it off because she had, like, like, probably 3 or 4 months ago, my Nana had passed away in her sleep, and I was making a couple calls to a couple friends, and my friend's mom called me and said that, hey, Tony, so-and-so just couldn't take it anymore and all that, and she had offed herself, and I had to get away from my family, and I started crying because that was my childhood friend. If anything was to happen to her, it would have been on me. I would have felt guilty because I couldn't have done anything. And I tried and tried to keep people from bullying her, and people that have bullied her, I have talked to them, and I have said, hey, and I went to her funeral, and they were there, and they gave their sorries, and they said, they made a confession basically to the priest or whatever, saying, I'm sorry for what we did to you. I'm sorry for us bullying you and pushing you to this point. And they asked for forgiveness from the Lord and all that, and they said sorry to me because they know that she was my best friend, and yeah, I had feelings for her and all that, but I mean, I wouldn't have let that ruin our relationship as friends. So they had said sorry to me, and I was like, thank you for saying sorry to me, and thank you for apologizing, and thank you for confessing and all that. And basically that day I had lost someone very important to me, and her mom, nicest woman you could have ever met, came up to me, was like, Tony, she wanted you to have this because this ring was the one that I had given to her for her birthday a year ago or whatever, and she said she probably would have wanted you to have this back if something ever happened to her. I'm like, thank you. And at that point, I broke down in tears. Because this ring, I had another one like it. I had a blue one that she had gotten for me for my birthday. I got her this one for her birthday. I lost that one, so now I always wear this one whenever I go somewhere. And this has so much emotional value that if someone was to take this from me or whatnot, it would kill me. So I'm sorry for basically, I promised myself I wouldn't cry if I had to say something like this on camera, but sorry. And if you guys did enjoy the video, please leave a like, a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below with what you think about both of these stories. And I want to apologize for, I'm basically just starting YouTube and all that, and I just got back because I just been going on a roller coaster of emotions, and I want you guys to remember, no one is important other than yourself. If anyone thinks that they are better than you, they are wrong. You are who you are. Don't ever let anybody tell you different. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.